You wake to a chorus so vast and layered it seems impossible that any single morning could hold it. Birdsong rises in countless voices, threaded through with the calls of unseen creatures and the deep hum of insects. And beneath it all, the soft, endless dripping of water from a billion leaves. Green light moves across the ceiling of your home, dappled and shifting, broken into 1,000 pieces by the canopy above. You lie still for a moment, breathing air so rich and moist it feels almost like a living thing, and then you understand where you are. You have woken in the heart of the Amazon, in a rainforest that should not exist, a forest that humanity, against all odds, brought back from the edge of death. You rise and move to the window, and the great forest reveals itself, and the scale of it humbles you. Trees rise like green cathedrals, their crowns spreading far overhead, their trunks vanishing down into shadowed depths where rivers wind silver through the green. Life is everywhere, in the branches and the undergrowth and the air itself, so dense and so loud and so vividly alive that it presses against you from every side. And you know, because everyone knows, that within living memory this was nearly gone. The greatest forest on Earth had been cut and burned and stripped until it teetered on the edge of becoming dry and lifeless ruin. Yet here it stands, whole again, breathing. You step onto a walkway that winds gently through the canopy, and the air meets you warm and wet and impossibly clean, thick with the green breath of countless trees. You understand quickly that you are standing inside one of the proudest works humanity ever undertook. The forest around you was not merely protected, it was rebuilt, coaxed back across decades of patient labor over land that had been laid bare, until the green crept once more across the wounds, and the rivers ran clear again, and the creatures returned to a home that had nearly vanished. You are looking at a resurrection, accomplished not in a single miracle, but through the long, stubborn work of generations. A small craft drifts up to meet the walkway, quiet as a gliding bird, and you step inside. It lifts and threads gently between the great trunks, rising through gaps in the canopy and sinking again into green shade, never disturbing the life around it, guided by a careful shared mind. You watch the forest slide past and you realize how lightly people move through this place. The few who live here do so as guests, their homes woven into the branches, touching the forest as softly as the birds that share it, taking nothing it cannot spare. The craft carries you down toward the forest floor, and there you discover how the great rebuilding was done. You pass through a stretch of forest younger than the rest, where the trees are not yet giants, and you understand that this was once bare and ruined ground. People and patient machines worked here for decades, planting and tending and nurturing, learning the forest's own ways of healing and helping it along, until the green took hold again on its own. And once it did, they stepped back and let the forest finish the work itself, the way only a forest can. You rise again to a sunlit clearing where children have gathered, and you wait for a school and find only wonder. One child is shaping a model of the forest's water, watching how the trees themselves call the rain down from the sky. Another is learning the names and voices of the countless creatures that fill the canopy. A patient presence guides each of them along the thread of their own curiosity, and you realize these children are growing up inside a living monument to what their ancestors saved, learning to cherish the forest precisely because they know how close it came to being lost. You pass people as you go, and you notice the quiet reverence in how they move through this place. You meet the eyes of one who seems no older than 40, and somehow you know they have lived a century or more that they have given decades of a long life to tending this forest. You understand that many here remember, through the long memory of their years, the stories of how near the Amazon came to dying, and that this nearness is exactly why they guard it now with such devotion. If this rebuilt forest is stirring something in you, a sense of what can be brought back even after it seems lost, take a moment to subscribe and journey onward with us. Every future we explore together is a reminder of what we are still capable of healing. The more of us who hold this vision in mind, the closer it comes. Now, let the journey continue. You rise into the air once more, and the craft carries you high above the canopy. And from this height, the true scale of the rebuilding takes your breath away. The forest runs unbroken in every direction, green and vast and endless, larger than nations, rolling toward the horizon without a single road or scar to break it. Rivers wind silver through the green, free and clean. And you understand that all of this, the whole immeasurable forest, was brought back to life. That the dry and broken land of the dark years was healed across generations until the Amazon was whole once more, the green lung of the world breathing freely again. The craft carries you over a great river, and you watch the forest pour its life into the water and the sky, the rising mist gathering into clouds that will fall again as rain. The endless cycle the forest spins for itself and for the whole world beyond it. You realize that in saving this place, humanity did not only save the Amazon. The forest cools the earth, waters distant lands, steadies the breath of the entire planet. And its rebuilding was a gift not to one region, but to every living thing that shares the world with it. You descend as the day softens toward evening, and the canopy fills with golden light slanting low between the trunks, and the chorus of the forest shifts into its softer voice, the calls of the day giving way to the gentler sounds of dusk. People gather along the walkways and in the clearings to share food drawn from the forest's abundance, sitting close in slow and unhurried conversation as the light deepens toward gold. And you notice the thing beneath it all. There is reverence here, a quiet and grateful peace, the contentment of people who live within something their ancestors fought across generations to bring back from the dead. You find a quiet place at the edge of a walkway, where the great trees fall away into green depths below, and you sit, and around you, the forest begins to glow with the soft lights of its scattered homes, mingling with the first fireflies rising through the dusk. You watch a child point down into the darkening canopy at a bright bird settling for the night, asking a question you cannot hear. And you watch an elder who has tended this forest for 100 years answer with a smile. And it settles over you, the meaning of where you sit. None of this was inevitable. This vast and living forest, breathing and whole, was not promised to anyone. It was very nearly lost forever, cut and burned to the edge of ruin. And it was brought back only because people refused to accept that loss as final. Across long and patient generations, they planted and tended and waited, healing a wound that spanned a continent until the greatest forest on earth rose green and alive once more. This was not a gift of nature. It was a debt repaid by hands that would not give up. You lean back beneath the rustling canopy and look up through the leaves at the first emerging stars. And a single thought stays with you as the great forest breathes softly into the night. This is what we became when we chose to heal what we had nearly destroyed. And quietly, somewhere within you, you begin to believe that whatever else we have broken, we can mend it too.